Hello, I'm JJ. Welcome back to my podcast. Even though welcome back doesn't really mean anything because, well, we'll get into that. First of all, let's start off with recapping last episode in statistic manner. We got a total of 5 views, 4 of which were me, 3 were accidental. The last one was me confirming that the 3 were accidental. But 1 view from one guy who only watched 1 second, so I guess my voice annoyed him so much, he quit. Which, perfectly understandable. And today, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, I don't know. I'm kidding. I have stuff planned out. Let's first talk about some news from the United States of America. After waiting for a long time, Joe Biden finally entering the race. Finally entering the race. Like, come on, Joe. This took him way too long. Like a ridiculous amount of time. And one sip. And God, that's good soda. And very much he's entering now. He seems to be doing well in the polls. But I don't think he's gonna make it. I don't. Because he's playing in the moderate lane. He's even making conservative arguments, you know. Even conservatives like Ben Shapiro are saying, like, yeah, I agree with a lot of stuff he's been saying. That's because he's playing off the moderates. He's trying to be in the moderate lane. You know, where most of the other candidates for the Democratic Party are in the progressive lane. Which very much shows you where the Democratic Party is going. And very much, it's the idea is Joe Biden's entire campaign is predicated off the idea that once the primary actually starts, all the progressives are just going to shoot each other. They're all going to fall over. And they're all going to not be able to muster enough support, and they'll all fail. While that might be true, it still wouldn't mean that one of them would probably arise. Most likely Bernie. And then you would have to ask, well, would Joe be able to go against Bernie? And I don't know if he could. And now let's say the idea that all the progressives are going to shoot each other and they're all going to fall over is false. Then Joe Biden is screwed. Joe Biden is playing a gambling game. And I've seen some people who don't understand why Joe is now running. Like, why were you running in 2016? You could have been the Messiah. He had massive personal tragedy and loss in 2016. And he wouldn't have been able to run. Most likely his entry would have inspired other people to enter and would have become a big cluster afterward. And yeah, so definitely Joe Biden, good luck to him. God bless him. Running for president at the age of 70-something. I don't really have a lot of old people running. A lot of 70-year-olds. Oh, my. God, can we get like a 16-year-old run for president? I know he wouldn't be able to win, but I mean, it's still fun being president. Like, what's his name? The guy with Boothead, that guy. You know what I'm talking about. That would be wonderful to see him run. So, yeah, let's, sorry. Frog in my throat. Now for maybe some Canadian news. Ooh. Which also involves, let me move my globe. The Philippines. Ooh, I don't know why I moved my globe. You can't see it. Well, the president, who kind of acts like a Roman-style dictator, that is not an insult at all. Roman-style dictators were good people for the most part. You know, I mean, I'm talking about him in the sense of he's taking a lot of power because there's a crisis going on. Looks like he would relinquish it. Duterte, I cannot pronounce most non-American names, so I am sorry. Duterte, who is known for saying, I don't have the exact quote in front of me right now, but I could, to paraphrase, he said, there are 6 million drug dealers in the Philippines, and Hitler killed 60 million Jews. I think you can see where I'm going with this. And he also is the guy who proposed giving people free guns. Free. F-R-E-E. Guns. GUNS. For free if they promise to kill drug dealers with it. Which, oh my god. So this gives you an idea of the kind of man who's taking on Canada single-handedly because a Canadian company dumped some toxic trash on Filipino soil without permission. Which, dick move. Massive dick move. But Duterte has given them a deadline. Given Prime Minister Justin Trudeau a deadline. And has said, if you don't agree with this, you don't do this, if you don't get rid of this, I will declare war. But you also have to remember that would be declaring war on every NATO country, so you'd also be declaring war on the US. So that's wonderful. Yeah. I do not know why he immediately went to war and not I will embargo first, because that seems like a much more reasonable thing he could have done. I don't know. He could be referring to a trade war, which in that case he probably would have a chance at winning because he has cheap labor and he can just say, hey, any American companies that go out of Canada will let you do stuff over here, and that could get a few companies to pull out of Canada to go to the Philippines with cheap labor. And now we have to ask ourselves something very important. What is Duterte going to do to Justin Trudeau after he storms Ottawa and takes over? Is he going to hang him? Is he going to send him to firing squad? I can't complete that. Yeah, no, this is a joke. Duterte is not going to be invading Canada anytime soon. If anything, Duterte is going into a trade war, which he could win, but it'd be very hard and very costly for both countries involved. But that would kind of cause Canada to become more reliant on the US. So good for Pan Americanism, but not in the way we want. It's kind of like we get $500, but it's all from inheritance from my dead grandfather. I mean, that's good for you, but you don't like getting that $500 because your grandpa just died. So, best of both worlds. Best of both worlds on this podcast. And, well, I guess I should set a precedent now. This isn't going to be a purely political podcast. I'll talk about social stuff. Because today I saw Endgame, and I am not going to talk spoilers just yet. I'll talk spoilers later. But, yes, Endgame, if you have not seen it, go see it after you listen to my fabulous voice. I'm kidding, this voice is ugly as all hell. After you listen to this podcast, go see Endgame. It is wonderful. Bring tissues. All I need to say is dance, and people who have seen it are immediately in tears. I am almost in tears just from thinking of the word dance. Goes to show you how powerful that movie is. It is 11 years of build-up, and it is worth every second. I'll do the math. How many seconds is 11 years? I don't know. Off the top of my head. That's a very interesting question, JJ. Thank you, JJ. Yes, I talked to myself. God, that was cringy. I am sorry if you can't tell. Ran out of medication today. So, definitely not in the best moods. Luckily, I got some pizza. I got some soda. I think I'll be good. So. Yeah. Sorry about that. So let's first of all talk about some panism stuff. So, I think I have to better define people group. While people group is a very broad term, you could argue Catholics are a people group. I'm referring to kind of not a race or ethnicity, but a kind of a broad people, a structural people group with a clear us mentality, with a clear, we are one people. And it doesn't have to be very clear. It can be kind of like a, we stand united together. Like how, no one in the UK says, we are one nation. We stand together. No one really says that. They're like, we're the United Kingdom, and you can very much tell there's a difference between how Theresa May talks about her country and how Donald Trump talks about his. Or how Obama and David Cameron or Tony Blair and George Bush, George W, as my dad says. God, I can't even give it justice how he says W. I say W. Don't know if you care. I mean, honestly, you probably already left by now. No one is going to get to this point. If you have, congratulations. And thank you for listening to this hideous voice for so long. It is already, let's hear, 11 minutes and 15 seconds. That is way too long to be listening to my voice. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how you're doing it. But where were we? Where I get so off track, honestly. So, we can, I guess, more define people group. So, people group definitely, there needs to be a clear history to it. A nation is not a nation without history. You can't just suddenly be like, oh, there's a people group. Oh, it's out of nowhere. No, there has to be a clearly defined history. And I definitely think there's a moment in time that they go from being one people group to another. And clearly that moment in time for the American nation was the Boston Tea Party. Not Declaration of Independence. Declaration of Independence, we were already a nation at that point. The Boston Tea Party kind of was the moment we all realized, hey, we're our own thing. And Canadians realized that too in that moment. Now, of course, Canadians and Americans were not the same nation on the board. I even touched about this last episode, earlier in the week. So Canadians and Americans were not the same nation at this point. Hell, there are two Canadians at this point, the Quebecers and the Canadians. You know what I'm saying. So there were arguably three nations all in the vicinity of each other. And the Boston Tea Party definitely was a moment where two of them clicked, hey, we're our own thing. Quebec had already for a while kind of seen themselves as their own thing, from my understanding. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, so they all kind of were like, hey, this independence thing ain't too bad. And of course, later the Revolutionary War started and the United States got her freedom. Because France kamikazed her country, because Britain kamikazed hers. Yes, the story of America is literally two countries who have such big hate borders for each other, they're willing to destroy their entire countries. Just so the other one doesn't get one up. The English did it in 7 Years of War, did it in the 100 Years of War. They arguably kind of did it in the Napoleonic Wars. They even did it before that in some other wars here and there. And the French, they did it during every other point of history. Effectively, European history has been the story of who's on top, England or France. After those two nations were solidified and after William the Conqueror had invaded England and became the conqueror, who was going to be on top, France or England? That's the story of Western civilization for a long time. And of course, now the story of Western civilization is, where the hell are we? What are we doing? What's our goal? That is our goal right now, to find a goal. Which is kind of sad how far we have fallen, honestly. We used to be so great. We used to be at a point where we were landing human beings on the moon. And now we're at a point where we can hardly go down the street because there's so many potholes in our towns, in our streets. Western civilization is falling apart at the seams. And definitely there is movements to restore it to its glory, and I definitely support those movements. They go by many different names, many different places. Even mainstream political figures are part of those movements. It doesn't matter, and I definitely think now it's now or never for Western civilization. Either we solidify our place on top, or we fade into darkness forever. Okay, I did not mean for that to be racist at all. I want to make that clear. Oh boy, that wind is picking up, and Leo, the neighbor's dog, is not liking it. To be fair, he doesn't like anything. He does not. I'm going to check real quick if you can hear me. If not, then I need to reset things. One moment, folks. And I'm back. You can hear me loud and clear. You can't even really hear the wind, which is weird, but whatever. By the way, if you listen to this podcast for any period of time at all, even if you listen to one, comment something, please. Not just for engagement. Like, even if comments didn't get engaged, I'd still want you to comment. Because I just want to hear from you. I want to know you. You don't even have to comment on YouTube because you feel like I'm trying to game it. DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open. Just talk to me, man. By the way, you can follow me on Twitter at Pan Americanist. I wanted the Pan Americanist, but that was too long, so I'm just Pan Americanist. So, I guess for probably the greatest American movie of 2019 so far, Endgame, I'm going to give you a moment or two to pause it or whatever. Spoilers are coming up. I'm just going to give you a bit more time. You have 20 seconds to disconnect, whatever. I'm just making sure because I've been spoiled before when someone swapped spoilers, and I didn't have the time to stop my phone because it was in my pocket while I was pushing carts at work. So, yeah. You have 2 seconds, 1 second, and oh my god, Captain finally got his dance. He finally got his dance. Oh, this baby at that scene. I was crying. So many feels. Like, what a way for him to go out. What a way for the entire series to go out. I know this isn't the end for Marvel movies, but it's the end for this storyline, this book. This one big book. One big, I guess, I don't know, series. It's a series. Like how Dragon Ball was a series, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, I guess. Man. And, oh my god. Thank the Lord in the highest. Captain America was not a Deus Ex Machina. Thank God. I already don't like Brie Larson. She's just a very terrible and self-centered person. Very much thinks anyone disagrees with her is a misogynistic bigot. Which, just because someone disagrees with you, this is something big. Just because someone disagrees with you does not mean they're a horrible person. Someone can agree with something horrifying and awful, but that does not make them a terrible person. I'll tell you this. My years of studying politics, which makes it sound longer than it is. It's been, it'll be 3 years later this year. 3 years of studying politics. I've met extremists. I've met a lot of people online. I've met 2 fascists who were both gay, and they were together, and they were planning on getting married in the state of, I believe, Texas? Texas has to do gay marriages because of the Supreme Court statute. I don't know if there's something around that, but they wanted to get married in Texas. I know one lived in Texas, one lived in Georgia, if I remember correctly. So yeah, very much, I've met a lot of weird people, and I can tell you, everyone I've met who's an extremist, who believes in genocide or something like that, I can tell you, they don't want to believe in that. They believe in that purely because the people around them believe in it. And it's not because, oh, they're just dumb sheep. No. Most people I've met who are extremists have issues with their family. They haven't seen their family in years. One guy I knew said he didn't know his sister died until the 5-year anniversary. And I can't imagine that. I can't imagine being that disconnected to your family. And most of the time, it wasn't their choice. They started to either believe in something risque, they were doing something risque, or something happened, and their family started to cut ties with them. They felt attacked, and they cut ties. You know, and they feel alone, and then the only support structure they have is this awful ideology. So they're drawn to it. That's the only family they have now. So, yeah, oh man, I got real off topic real quick. I was supposed to be talking about an endgame, but this is an important thing. This is an important tangent. So extremists believe, fundamentally, that what they're in is their family. They believe that they might not even agree. They just say they agree because that's the only family they have. So, when you meet an extremist, best way to convert them is to talk with them. Give them an outlet and discuss them. Because I can tell you, people like Richard Spencer, he used to be much more radical. But as he became more prominent, and he started to be interviewed by people who weren't extremists, he definitely got an outlet and he started to modernize. Very much so, actually. So, yeah, back to the movie, though. Brie Larson, terrible person. Brie Larson, man, bad. God, that's awful. Luckily, she only Deus Ex Machina us in the beginning scene, which Deus Ex Machina, in that way, is not bad. Because it is them introducing the character in a way that doesn't affect the story. Because they could have easily have done it like, oh, we suddenly find this ship that would make canonical sense for it to run into us, because half the universe decided, of course, there's going to be ships flying around. I'm actually surprised they were still on the regular one, because, you know, they would have some radar to find it, but whatever. And I was right in my prediction that Iron Man was going to get home in the first act. I didn't believe that we would even go 5 minutes without them reuniting. And I was right. I'm not sure if it was actually 5 minutes, but whatever. Go show ya. So Brie Larson definitely comes off as an arrogant, cocky individual. But she does not seem as bad as I was thinking. So, what I believe is going to happen now. Sorry. Let me correct myself. So, the moment when they were going to go kill Thanos, what I thought was going to happen is they were going to land and Thanos was going to snap out or something. When they cut off his hand, I was like, oh, he's using the reality zone. No. He destroyed the Infinity Stones. And I was so confused. I was very confused. And then he just dies. Right then and there, which I have some issues with. So then they go and they do this whole time travel thing, which is so much fun. It is so much fun to see the scenes from a different point of view and to see the, like, aftermath, like the bureaucratic nonsense that goes on, that goes on, but it's too boring to actually see. But since they're doing something, you can see the bureaucratic nonsense. It's great. And oh my god, the major middle finger to, what was that guy's name? The guy who wrote the Hail Hydra comic where Captain America goes bad. Then he says, "Oh no, actually I was planning on him actually being a double agent the whole time." No, you weren't. No, you weren't. The backlash was just so bad because you broke Captain America's character so badly that you know what I mean. So when he links in and says "Hail Hydra" purely to destroy Hydra, great. Well, not destroy Hydra, but you know what I mean. Great. It was fantastic. Such a great FU moment. And now, and then they lose Tesseract, which that's their way of getting Loki back in the storyline because Loki is this fangirl character, which I was hoping you would say that. I mean, my best friend loves Loki. I hate him. I like him. Loved him in Ragnarok. But my god, women are so thirsty about him. It's so annoying. Like, if you're going to be thirsty about anyone, be thirsty about my boy. My homeboy. Groot. Like, those branches. God. What would that be? We have furries and we have scalies. What would that one be? Planties? Ugh. God almighty in heaven and hell. Yeah. So, they go through time and all that. And I would have much rather preferred Thanos. They take Thanos and they get him and, they pull him away. And when going back in time, he falls in and, oh no. And he goes, instead of Nebula having a network, which didn't really make sense because why would she I don't understand why she had such a wide network range. Definitely that would be something for like a spin-off, quick 30-minute venture to explain. Kind of like a Rogue One, even though Rogue One was not short. God, that thing was long. It wasn't even really long, it just felt long. I still enjoyed it, but whatever. Oh, God, I'm sorry, that was disgusting. Oh my god. Okay, so I would much rather prefer if Thanos, we actually got our Thanos, the one from our timeline, not the one from the past who led the massive invasion. Maybe he used something to kill the past Thanos and, heal his body. And maybe, the whole Dark Order the children of Thanos would have sided with Thanos from our timeline because, he actually did it. I don't know. But, or they could have both done it. I don't know. That would have been fun. Seeing two Thanoses interact. That would have been amazing. And, so they're all doing this, and they're all having fun, and Natasha dies. God, I was crying. Because I've been saying for a while, people who I was like, oh, girls need a strong female hero. No, they don't. They already have one. Black Widow. Make Black Widow a sympathetic character. Give her a whole movie. And show girls that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much abuse you take, you get up and you march on. That's a great message. That's a great message to tell everyone, especially young girls who, if we're going out the presumption that they don't get enough love from superhero movies, no matter how much crap you get, you keep going. That's a great message. Such a great message. Instead of Captain Marvel, which is Captain Marvel is powerful because Captain Marvel is Captain Marvel. God. But whatever. So we go to, Natasha dying and, nothing can be done. Eventually, Hulk does this reverse snap, and it's a great scene because Ant-Man walks out and he sees all the birds humming. I would have preferred there was someone other than Ant-Man because he didn't see the snap. But he's just like, guys, I think we did it. Hawkeye is getting a call from his wife, and you know, I'm all emotional. It's all happening, and Thanos just comes in and just starts killing everybody. The Avengers are dead. Oh wait, somehow they have miraculously all survived. And they could have easily. Here's my thing. They had the room under lockdown. Why did the Russos decide, oh, let's unlock down this room and then have Thanos destroy the thing? No, they could have locked down the room so then everyone could have survived. They still would have been scattered, but then, you know, it'd be more believable that they survived because the thing was under lockdown. You know, so they're all running. And then we get this great scene with Thanos putting Stormbreaker right to Thor's chest. He's pushing it in, reminiscent of when Thor did the same to him, but not him because, you know, time travel. Which time travel in this movie is so great. It doesn't really make sense on how they do the time branch. I guess it forms all branches. It forms different branches, but the branches all culminate together. Kinda like how Harry Potter kind of worked, I guess. Not really. I don't know. So that all happens, you know, and you know, so Thor's on the ground, and he's like, this is it. This is the end. You know, he's probably saying a prayer in his head to the All Fathers. And then you start seeing Mjolnir move. You're like, oh, he's opening his hand. Oh, and it flies into Cap's hand. And I almost fell out of my chair and started screaming from a nerdgasm. Oh, God, I've been waiting so long for that scene. I've been waiting so long for that imagery of him to hold that Mjolnir, however you say it. He finally does it. And it's great. It's everything I wanted. He even hits the shield with Mjolnir, and it knocks Thanos down, because of course it does, because it's, you know, vibranium hitting. Yeah! It's fantastic. And then eventually Thanos' army appears, and, you know, it looks like it's all over. Then you start to see a hole open. And you're like, oh, Doctor Strange! It's Black Panther, but I kind of understand why they wanted to get a reaction out of, you know, Black Panther's fan base, because he has a strong fan base. Which, I'm going to talk about that movie one day. Probably in the next episode. About how I think we could improve it. Because that movie needs improvement. And so, you know, everything is going on. You know, so Black Panther comes out, and he looks at Captain, and Captain looks back, and they just start like, hell yes. And then the entire Wakandan army, not the entire, the ones who are snapped all start marching out. The wizards start marching out. The Valkyries start marching out. The Valkyrie, you know, Ant-Man becomes Giant Man again, which we didn't get enough of that, but it's so great. And all this, and it is a fantastic scene. We're just seeing all of them culminating together. Captain picks up his shield, and I am shaking, literally shaking in my chair, saying, say it, I've been waiting 11 years, say it. He says, Avengers. And there's a pause, and I am squealing. I am literally squealing. My sister kept nudging me to tell me to stop. I wasn't going to stop. He said, Avengers, assemble, and second orgasm. Waiting so long for that, and they go at each other, and it is just a boom, and you're fighting, and it's wonderful. And I could just go on and on about that, but then we have to discuss the scene. Oh boy. There's nothing wrong with this scene, and you know what I'm talking about. It's when Spider-Man gives Captain Marvel the Infinity. It is the Iron Gauntlet. I call it the Iron Gauntlet because it's not the Infinity Gauntlet. You know, he's giving her the fake one that can't really withstand the power, so it's actually very dangerous to use. And he's like, I can't see how you get through all of it. And every single girl shows up. Which, if you want to have a good scene with every girl showing up, have it make sense. It didn't really make sense because you just see Mantis posing, and they're all posing, and it's like, okay, this is obviously patronizing. You know, they're just trying to pander, and it was kind of annoying. But you make Mantis like at least like have her be on someone's shoulders, very clearly being just support, like not bopping heads to make people sleep. Like have her clearly in a supportive role, not like, oh, she's on her own, fending on her own. Which, no, and that's not because she's a woman, that's because she's a supports class. You know, like other support classes wouldn't be able, even if it was a dude, they wouldn't be able to last on their own. You know? So it's all the girls, and it's not that bad. It's just, it could have been done in a much better way. You know, so they try to go get it, and they are trying, they're trying, and Thanos eventually destroys the thing, and Captain Marvel tries to knock down Thanos, but she just can't because Thanos outsmarts her, which I love that. I love that so much because it was just an FU to overpowered characters. And it was an FU to showing how everyone's like, oh no, the MCU is getting too overpowered. You know, we're not going to be able to really have it very much was showing, no. There are still ways around overpowered characters. You can still just nerf the hell out of them through outsmarting them. You know, and she, at one point grabs the gauntlet and prevents him from doing something. So he's just like, okay. He just grabs the reality stone off of, or no, the power stone off of it and just punches her with it. And it's such a great scene because I always was like, I wonder if he could do that. And he just does it. And he does it without really thinking. And it is such a wonderful thing. You look on her face, is like, oh, should have thought about that. Should have been fighting without focusing on this singular body part. It's great. Then, everything's about to happen, and then Iron Man looks to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, so with his shaking hands, with I relate to, my hands are very weak, not as weak as his, but still very weak. Iron Man looks to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange holds up the one referencing, this is the one timeline. Iron Man runs in, takes stones in without Thanos knowing, and it's like, I am inevitable. Apparently this line was improv, which makes it so much better. Iron Man, which it's really Robert Downey Jr. saying it, says no. No, he doesn't say, well, yes, maybe, or he says something like that. He says, I am Iron Man. Shows that he has all the things, and his suit has made it into a gauntlet, and he snaps, destroying Thanos' army. And it's done so well, and it very much is clearly that Iron Man made it show Thanos, this is what you did to half the universe. And very clearly Thanos is like in pain, emotional pain from seeing everything he knows destroyed around him. He sits down, kind of just looking like, oh, this could have gone better. And then he just fades. It's great. And, it happens. And I'm like, no, Iron Man, no. And, Iron Man is leaning over, and then Pepper says, it's okay, you can rest now. Which references earlier scenes, but also kind of remembers how, hey, the old guard, it's your time, you deserve a rest. You deserve a nap. It's good, we got this. And, everything from there was wrapped up in a nice bow. Literally everyone who played a part of Iron Man's life shows up to his funeral. And it's great because even Spider-Man was there, and the reunion between Spider-Man and Iron Man was so great. It made me think that Iron Man was actually going to live. He didn't, but it was still like, because Father and Son was playing in my head when I heard that. When I saw this united, but wasn't meant to be. They only got one last bonding moment before they all died. I really wish they would have gotten a fight scene together. Like, they would use something with their suits, whatever. Maybe they did, and they're going to show us that in Far From Home. And even the kid from Iron Man 3 showed up, which, wonderful. Wonderful touch. And slowly pans back to Captain Marvel with her ugly haircut, and then to Nick Fury watching from behind, which perfect representation of his character. Oh, so good. And then, the scene with Cap. Sense the past. Making complete sense. Bucky knows. And looks back they're like, oh, why isn't he appearing? And he's like, guys, points to Cap. Old Cap sitting on the bench, and he's just like, and him, I'm getting all emotional. Him and Falcon are talking, and eventually shakes Falcon's hand, and you see it ringing. I immediately start crying because I knew he was married to Carter, and he's like, you want to tell me about her? He's like, no, I don't think I will. And it cuts it back to the past to end this franchise. And they're getting their dance. And very clearly, it's probably their first dance together. I think that's my headcanon. It's their first dance. And they just look so happy that they're finally getting this moment. And it's wonderful. It's such a wonderful way to end the franchise. And because this is a big part of my life, and I'm so glad it's done. In the sense of, it went off on a good note. It went off at the right time. And it really made you believe that, hey, this is a book, and this is you close the book. You turn the last page, book's closed. It very much gives you that feeling. Same feeling when I rushed through reading The Wealth of Nations and only really was able to understand first part of it and then failed on the rest. So yeah, and the reason I'm talking about this movie is because movies are such an integral part of American culture. They're an integral part of every culture, but very much American because people will complain, oh, America doesn't have any folk heroes. No, we do. Captain America, Luke Skywalker, Iron Man, Batman, Superman, those are our folk heroes. The English might have Robin Hood, but we have, Captain America. Hell yes. All these cultures might have their folk heroes, their heroes of old time, who may or may not have existed. And we have these legendary heroes from our stories. Like, these are our folk tales. These are the tales our ancestors would tell on the around the campfire. Very much I do believe that it's important to talk about these movies and important to reminisce about them because these are our culture, and our culture is very important. And it's like how movies that absolutely do amazing here bomb in other countries because it's not the same culture. Movies here that might be amazing don't do well in other parts of the world because they don't care. Why would they care? It's like how Star Wars doesn't really do well mainly in China. Why would they care? It's not their folk heroes. They already have folk heroes. Like Mumbu, I believe, the guy who went around slaughtering everyone he works for. Which, good job, China. Good job. Good, great hero. We have our culture. And people who say white people have no culture suck a dick. This shows us what happens when a people group decide, this is our belief. This is what we want to do. This is what we will do. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I do. I love our folk stories. I love the story of Luke Skywalker, who, in spite of everyone telling him, you have to kill your father, he was like, no, there's still good in him. I can see it. Wonderful message about how no one is truly lost and that everyone can still be saved, no matter how bad they are, which is fundamentally a Western principle. Even the worst people of history could be saved. That's a very Christian principle. And, you know, we live in the Judeo-Christian West. So very much kind of our belief. Yeah. Trying to look over my notes if there's anything else to talk about. I think I'm good. I got some stuff I could talk about, but I don't want to keep you. So, thank you for listening. Don't hurt yourself. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have a great life. And God bless.